Hello. Sorry, was that too loud for some people? I don't know. I have tried filming this. This is gonna be my third time trying to film this. I don't know if it's the planets in retrograde, but I can't speak. I cannot speak and I cannot articulate my ideas at all. And every time that I'm trying to film this, it's just like a jumbled mess. And it just keeps cycling and cycling in my head, and I just wanted to freaking talk about it. So hopefully third time's a charm. Fingers crossed, it's third time's a charm. But anyway, so essentially what has happened is I accidentally manifested something into my life that has cascaded into some interesting observations and things that I keep thinking about, and I guess I just really want to share, because I was ready to quit. I was ready to leave the Bay Area. I am not happy here. I have not found what I'm looking for. I have not found the feeling that I'm looking for. And I was like, you know what? I love the program that I'm in for graduate school, but I just cannot last another year here. I cannot do it. And then I accidentally manifested something that has cascaded into me finding the feelings that I've been searching for. And within that, I've been able to make some reflections and observations that I just cannot stop thinking about. So yeah, I'm gonna share what's been going on. So essentially what's been going on is that I have been going through a lot. For one, graduate school is really hard. It's freaking hard, you know? And on top of graduate school, with this last kind of breakup that I had, it tore open an abandonment wound of mine, and it is one of my most core and painful wounds, and I've been having to navigate that and heal it all by myself. And I've been in this city, and I haven't made the friendships that I'm really looking for. I haven't made the connections. I haven't really found my community, and I have felt so alone and unsupported, and it's just been extremely difficult. And it just feels like I'm in this pressure cooker, you know? It's just pressure. And on top of that, I already have anger issues. This fiery rage in the pit of my stomach that never leaves. Oh gosh. Yeah, and so I think maybe some people might be able to resonate with this, but when you have a background in knowing a lot about the mind and psychology and having a higher EQ, and then combining it with this anger, I have gotten stuck in this obsessive cycle of analyze, heal, process. But the thing is, I've already seen what I needed to see. I've seen what I needed to see. I have already looked at the situation front and back. There is nothing left for me to look at. What I need to do now is to find a way to alchemize the energy that is stuck inside of my body into something else. And I already talked about this in my Dream Life video, but I have a block with art. I cannot get myself to do it. I cannot do it. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why, because there's perfectionism, and then there's going to be a learning curve, and then I put a lot of pressure. It's this whole thing. And I have these moments where I'm I need to draw, but I will find every excuse in the book to not do it. And I was thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I could really benefit from some art therapy. I think that would be so good for me to just get over this block that I have. And I was okay, let me look online, let me look at what my options are. And there wasn't really anything that was calling to me, and I was getting really overwhelmed. And within this process of exploring my options, I had a thought come into my mind of someone that I know who lives in the city. And she's a single mom, and she studied to be a art therapist, I believe. And she's not currently practicing because she's taking care of her son who has a developmental disability. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, gosh, like it would be really cool if like one day she could start her art therapy business and maybe I could take art therapy with her. That'd be really nice. And it was just a passing thought. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't want to think about looking for art therapy. Like, if art therapy is meant to find me, it will find me. And I just kind of gave up on the idea. And so fast forward to like 3 weeks ago, she had texted me and she's like, hey, like, how are you? Let's hang out. And I was like, it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, like hanging out with a family that's not mine. Like, it's a little strange for me. But I was like, you know what? I need new input in my life. I need new experiences. Like, let's freaking do that. And I did. We were hanging out all day, and I'm already in this like pressure cooker moment of my life. And so my ambiguity tolerance is quite low and my anxiety is quite high. And so this new experience was really testing me, like really testing me in so many ways. So at some point during this hangout, she is sharing with me that like she's doing this painting that she's going to give to a cafe so they can display it. And I was like, wow, that's like really amazing. And she just suddenly asked me, she's like, do you want to come over after this and contribute to the painting a little bit? And I was like, that's a lot of pressure, girl. Like, you want me to paint on this canvas that you're going to give to a cafe for display? Like, that's so nice, but also like a lot of pressure. And I was like, you know what? Like, I already agreed to do it. Like, it won't take long. It's fine. And so we get back to her place and the canvas is already set up. And I'm like, okay, like, do you have an idea of what you want me to draw? Like, is there a theme? And she's just like, nope, no theme, nothing, whatever you want, go for it. And I was like, okay, that's a lot of pressure. And I was like, okay, so can I have a pencil? And so she brings over this box of Prismacolor pencils. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I love Prismacolor. Like, this is very symbolic for me. Like, I talked about it in my Dream Life video of like how my mom's boss had given me these Prismacolors and my family couldn't afford to buy me like art supplies like that. So I cherished those color pencils for a very long time. And she brings over these pencils, Prismacolor pencils, and she's like, you can have this, by the way. And I was like, why? I was like, why are you giving me this? And she's like, I don't use it. You can have it. That was the first sign. That was the first sign that kind of like piqued my curiosity. I was like, okay, something's going on here. This is weird. Like that, like in terms of picking up signs, that was one. And then as I'm drawing this tiger. I decided to draw a tiger. So I was outlining it with these pencils and she just comes up behind me and I can hear her say, she's like, oh my God, that is beautiful. It's literally just an outline of a tiger. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Like, it was so much positive feedback. And she just like looks at me with her big blue eyes and she's like, I love it. It was very sweet. And I was like, oh my gosh, like when I was thinking about art therapy, that's exactly what I would imagine. Like this positive reinforcement to something so simple. Like, I love it. Like, you're doing amazing. Like, that's kind of what I imagined. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, is this like, am I getting like art therapized right now? It was so strange. And in that moment, I realized what was going on, right? Because that was, whether that's what art therapy is like or not, that is what I had imagined in my head what it would be like, and exactly what I imagined that I needed. Does that make sense? So this realization was actually directly paired with another thought that I had, which was gratitude. I was thinking about how I was already at my threshold. Like, I was very overwhelmed at this point. I was pretty anxious. I was like, this is very, very out of my comfort zone. Very out of my comfort zone. And I was thinking about a past version of me and how she would be thinking in that moment. And the past version of me that was very anxious and depressed and very much focused on the negative things in life, she would not be able to see what was happening right in front of her. She would be stuck in her thoughts of like, man, this happened today and that happened today, and I'm really overwhelmed right now, and I just really want to go home, and just spiraling in the negative. Versus the person that I am now, who has rewired my brain to think about gratitude much more quickly and automatically, I was able to see that. No matter if I was overwhelmed, if I was anxious, if there had been things in my day that had caused me a little bit of stress. So as all of this is happening, these thoughts are like going through my brain, and I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And so as I'm finishing up this outline, I hear her in her kitchen and she's like, I have another gift for you, by the way. And I was like, oh God. And I was like, I am the kind of person who does not like to over-receive, especially if I feel like I'm not giving you anything in return. Like, I do not want you to give me too much stuff. I feel like I owe you. Like, it's just a lot. Like, I would prefer it if this was more of like an equal exchange thing. So I was getting overwhelmed again. But as I walked over to the counter, she had like 3 seashells laid out, and she's like, pick one. And I picked out one with like gold accents, and she had a bunch of like plastic gems out on the table and like pearls of different sizes and super glue, and she's like, you're gonna decorate it. Get comfortable, go ahead and decorate your shell, like, have fun. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. Like, I didn't have to think about anything. She had a project for me. She told me, just make a decision, 1, 2, or 3, and go for it. And I was like, huh, that is exactly what I think art therapy would be like. And at least that's exactly what I needed. So anyway, I want to show you my little shell that I decorated. It's like, you know, nothing special, but like to me, it's so special. Cute, right? Anyway, I really liked it. So, anyway, after this experience had happened, I wasn't ready to fully dive into art again. But what I was able to do was think about self-expression. And I decided to write about my anger. I'm like, I need to process my anger in some way, somehow, in order to get unstuck. And so I did. I've been doing this thing where I'm like acting on my intuition. And what had happened was one of my friends had messaged me about a blog app. And she's like, hey, I think that you write really well, and I think you should check out this app. I'm also gonna use it. And I had the thought of that app, and I was like, I'm going to write about my anger. And that is so out of my comfort zone. Like, one, putting my feelings out into the world for anyone to see is already a lot. Like, these videos for me are a lot. And yeah, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I had the intuitive thought to do it, so I'm gonna do it. And I'm going to link the blog post down below, and I'm just gonna say right off the bat that there are trigger warnings on it, so no pressure to go read it at all. But yeah, it was so therapeutic to just kind of get that out there and express myself and just explain what's been going on with me, because I just feel like so misunderstood when it comes to my anger. So yeah, that was amazing. That was like such a great moment for me to just like get that out there into the world and feel like I can just shamelessly express what it is that I want to express. So anyway, after I got some of that anger out of my system, I was able to start thinking a little bit more clearly, and I started reflecting on some things. And like I had said, the theme was gratitude when I had that art therapy session thing. And also the fact that I had accidentally manifested it into my life, and it came in a way that was unexpected and better than I had imagined it to be. Because in my head, I was like, well, art therapy needs to happen in like a currency exchange situation, right? But that's not what happened. And so I was thinking about community. And so when I started thinking about community, that actually made me think about my ex, right? So weird. So what I had realized was manifesting community. I thought of my ex because my ex-boyfriend, the long-term one, he was actually one of the best manifestors I have ever met. And I would always tell him that. I'm like, how do you, like, you manifest things into your life. Do you realize that? And it would happen quickly, fairly quickly. And I was thinking about him and how these ideas connect to him, because something about him is that he was the kind of person who didn't really believe in these like societal structures and these societal rules. He was like, they're all made up. Like, I don't believe in that. And when I was dating him, that really conflicted with the person that I was, because I was like, I need to go to grad school, I need to get a PhD so I can become a professor, and blah, 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 blah. Like, I had these rules, I had these expectations of what my life needed to look like in order to be happy. And he was the complete opposite. Like, he's like, yeah, I don't believe in that. It was like, that really conflicted with me in that moment. And so that was being reflected to me right now, where I had just quit my job and I had just decided that I don't want to do a PhD and I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm in this place in my life where now I'm starting to understand what he was saying to me. The other thing that I started to think about was how he's the reason that I actually started to practice gratitude. When he and I were dating, I was the kind of person who was very much stuck in my sadness, and I was having a really hard time trying to see the good in life. And he very kindly told me, hey, I think that maybe you should write down like 3 things that you're grateful for every single day. And I listened to him. I did. And I started to practice gratitude in my life. And it was hard at first, but slowly but surely, it just started to become more automatic, you know? And then the third thing was community. He had a huge network of people in his life. And when I say network, I don't mean like, I'm a businessman, like I need a network so I can like get something out of people, blah, blah. No. Like, he had a network of friends that he kept up with and he truly cared about in his life. And those were the 3 things that I noticed. 3 things that I noticed that were being reflected back to me in this moment when this art therapy thing had came into my life. I don't know if that's connected, but the fact that I needed to break down the structures of what it needed to look like. What does art therapy need to look like? It needs to come from a currency exchange. No, it like came in the most unexpected way through community, and I was only able to see it because of gratitude. So these themes, they all tied into each other in the most interesting way. By the way, when I'm talking about my ex, I don't want people, like, I don't know, I feel like the need to defend myself for some reason, but like, I don't want people to take that as like, oh, I miss my ex. Like, that's not what it is. This also ties into gratitude, because I loved him and he played a very significant role in my life. But because I've moved into a place of gratitude when it comes to my relationships, even the ones that didn't work out, I can look back at that relationship and really reflect and think about all the positive things that it taught me. And if I wasn't a person who practiced gratitude, I would probably still be in a place where I'd be like, oh, like, that guy sucks. Like, I don't even want to think about that relationship. But instead, I'm able to reflect on it and find the lessons even now when I'm so far removed from it. Does that make sense? I'm not saying that you need to practice gratitude and connect with your community and tear down these structures in order to manifest. Like, I don't actually know much about manifesting. Like, I'm not Joe Dispenza. Like, don't come looking for me for manifestation advice, okay? But what I do know is, what I am good at is observations, reflections, and pattern recognition. I'm good at that. And this is something that I've noticed in my life that's been happening in quite a short period of time. The last thing that kind of really tied all of this together that I want to talk about is that, like I mentioned, I've been going through a tough time and I really want a dog, but I cannot have one where I'm living currently. So I was thinking about what the best next option is. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to sign up for a pet adoption organization. And I did. My first time volunteering was on Saturday. And this was like the moment that kind of really made me feel like I can maybe last in the Bay just a little bit longer. And made me feel like, okay, I'm finally finding steady ground and I'm finally aligning with where I want to be. So at this pet adoption event, like immediately I just felt so fulfilled, like helping out and being around these animals and seeing the community walk up to them and them being filled with joy, looking at these little cats and this dog that we were trying to get adopted. I was talking to the girl who actually started the organization, and it was so interesting to see how aligned we were, or rather, it was so interesting to see how she was a reflection of the path that I was on. She was telling me that she was a vet tech and that she noticed that shelters were only taking the litters and not the moms. And so that inspired her to start this organization. And so she really shifted her focus from being a vet tech to this organization. And she was sharing with me how everyone around her was like, why are you doing that? Like, you gotta chase the money, like chase what society expects of you, which would be like, become a vet. And she was saying, like, that is not gonna make me happy. This makes me happy. I am happy here. I'm happy here. And that was like a mirror for me of where I'm currently at. Like, I don't want to chase a PhD. I don't really think I want to be a professor anymore. Like, I was on that route and I was very unhappy. She basically said that, like, people are just not really gonna get it until they get it. And I was like, okay, like that makes me feel a little bit more secure about the decisions that I'm making currently of following my happiness. I was observing what was happening in my current reality in that moment, and I was like, wow, like there's so many things popping up in my reality right now that are making me feel hopeful again. Because like I said, I was struggling a lot. I was really, really, really struggling. And I was like filled with overwhelm and happiness, like being around the kittens and the puppy and seeing the community come up and everyone is so happy, and like it felt so good. It was really hard for me not to cry throughout that whole day, really, because of the feelings that I was getting. And I was searching for so long, this feeling of fulfillment, and here it was, finally. So the last thing I want to say is, when I was standing by the cats trying to answer questions to help them get adopted, a woman walks up with her husband, and I'm standing on one side of the cage and she's on this side. And she says, I wonder if they know what's in store for them. And that stood out to me so loudly. I was like, huh, what an odd thing to say. I wonder if the cats know what's in store for them. And then I was like, me. I feel stuck. I feel like I don't know what's about to happen. I don't know if I know what's in store for me. It was so interesting how much that stood out to me. Sometimes letting go of these expectations and these rules, a lot of us live our life following fear. Like, I need to do this because I was taught that's how I should live, because I was taught that's going to bring me safety and security, because I'm chasing external validations, because I want other people's approval. And when you finally let all of that go, it removes the foundation in which you're living your life, and it feels terrifying. And yet, I'm finally coming out of the scary part, I think. At least I hope. I don't know. But all of this was such a fun little experience to observe in my life, and I've just been having the most fun noticing these signs and like reflecting back on what's happening in my reality. I'm like, wow, life is getting so weird and so interesting. Anyway, I have to get to lab. I am really late now, actually, and I think I'm going to make some zucchini bread as a thank you to the mom who unintentionally gave me art therapy. because I just need to find a way to say thank you, because that did so much for me. But anyway, I think that's it. Okay, so if anyone is still here and doesn't mind me talking about my jewelry, look at this. So my mom, she made me this beautiful necklace. Isn't it stunning? And then she also gave me this gold choker thing with 3 diamonds on it. It's literally beautiful. I cherish this necklace with everything, with all of my might. And then she gave me these rings. So this one is like a gold turquoisey one. This is opal, and this is like a gold band with crystals on it. And I convinced her to start a jewelry line because she's so talented. So she made this one, and she gave me this gold one, and this is another one that she made. Like, aren't they so pretty? She's like so talented. I love her. Anyway, that's it.